Industrial souls forged in fire's embrace.
Hey there, people. Welcome to another episode of Industrial Souls. This time around, I'm going to be joined by Joel Callaghan-Kooistra from StressCrete Group, and we're going to talk about his background, his creative experience, and his kind of unique take on his creative journey. And we're also going to hear a little bit about what he thinks regarding team building and what makes him tick, the things that are his center and his motivators. So you don't want to miss this. Joel's a great guy. I'm sure many of you have seen him around on LinkedIn, Industrial Marketing Live, Industrial Marketing Summit, various places. So this is going to be a great show. And hang on, because things are about to get industrial. The man, the myth, the legend, Joel C.K. joining the show today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on. We've talked quite a few times out there in internet land. It's nice to have you on the show, though. So thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah, normally I generally start off the show asking people about their career background, but I want to do something a little different, which you can bring your career into the answer too, because I know it applies. But you kind of coined a term, the coincidental creative, on your LinkedIn profile, and you talk a little bit about it there. Why don't you tell us about what that means?
Yeah, so I mean, career-wise, I previously ran my own business for a while, so did that under a different banner, but shut that down several years ago. So coincidental creative, I came up with that just earlier this year, actually. And it really just kind of fits with how my career has been of, I never set out to be a creative, but I can't seem to shake that side of it. I kind of look back over my career, my education. When I was in school, university, I went for communications with a concentration in video production. And I picked it because I thought it'd be fun. It had no real understanding of where I'd go for a career, which could have been a really bad decision, but thankfully it's worked out for me. So did that, and then moved back to Canada. I was in school in West Michigan, so moved back to Canada after graduating, and worked in a camera store, retail, but always doing work on the side, like trying to build up my business. Ended up transferring to the professional division of that company. So moved to Toronto, lived there for a few years, and again, was working then. Everybody I was interacting with were working professionals, in photo and video world. So I got in doing a lot more side gigs and ended up for it's probably 5 years of full-time, my job being my own production company, doing photo and video. Ended up doing a lot of real estate work. Mostly residential, but I ended up connecting with a commercial real estate company and doing their marketing. So all through school and the work I was doing on my own, I was kind of drawn towards the corporate video side of things. I didn't do the fiction 24-hour film festival kind of stuff. That was never really interesting to me. I always liked the documentary or live event kind of stuff. So yeah, so I ended up most of the people I worked with were marketing people themselves. So my clients were the marketing people of larger companies. So I was on the other side of the marketing conversations a lot.
Yeah.
And then, ended up at a commercial real estate company for a few years, and then a complete random pivot into manufacturing marketing now with StressCrete Group.
So what do you think is, I guess, different, or what has been a challenge in terms of the creative process for doing something, like the difference between doing your own video production company and then bringing those skills in-house into kind of the weird machine that industrial marketing is. What's that transition been like, I guess, and what are the differences?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got in, it was fantastic because, like many manufacturing companies, we didn't have a whole lot. Our spec sheets were really dated. We had very few videos. The ones that were pretty dated. So
Yeah.
I think I was 2 months into the job. We went to visit our Ohio facility where all of our lights are made. And me and our now VP of sales, the two of us just spent a couple days in our LED testing lab and just made a bunch of how-to videos, like how to change out a driver, how to install a house side shield, all these really simple, practical things. So cut those down into 30-second, 1-minute clips that our sales team can still reference. They're available on the website. So it was, to me, incredibly simple, but compared to what's been done before, it was groundbreaking. And then, yeah, we've had a couple times we've done product launches that we wanted to put some effort into, but didn't have much of a budget because it was really in an R&D phase when we launched it. So I was able to, shoot those videos, make that promotional information, the sheets for it, spec sheets, flyers about it, basic graphic design stuff. But again, elevated from where we were just because I've paid attention to design trends or been connected with, working with a lot of companies, national, multinational companies. So seeing what they were doing kind of had all that information soaking up over the years.
Yeah. So we already have comments, which is great, from Colin. And he's asking the question, will there be a question and answer? And I'm answering that question. So this is a self-referencing question, isn't it?
I like it.
Yeah. So evidently, Colin,
fire away, Colin.
Evidently, there will be at least one question answered because I'm answering it now. But hey, if you're out there watching and you have a comment or a question, feel free to throw it into the comments because
we are live, so we might as well take advantage of it.
It does. It just increases the fun level when people throw out random junk into the comments. So go ahead and throw it out there. One thing I wanted to ask you about was you're with StressCrete Group, and we just briefly chatted about the StressCrete brand, the StressCrete Group brand, and kind of like the differences between those, and I guess maybe just juggling multiple. Colin throws out Inception Q&A. That's right, or question within a question. So why don't you talk for a second, I guess, about the differences in those brands and juggling and marketing those brands and what you're dealing with, I guess, with those different brands going on.
The company overall, we had our 70th anniversary last year, so we've been around for a while. But it's really only been in the time I've been here, a little bit before me, in the last 5 to 8 years, that we've started thinking as one big company instead of 6 individual companies. So with that came the rebranding to StressCrete Group they did just prior to me joining the company. But StressCrete Group is our umbrella company. We've got 6 operating companies that go to market. We're in 5 locations across North America. We have 4 public brands, 3rd generation family owned. We operate in 2 countries under the one umbrella. So StressCrete Group is the umbrella brand. We have 3 StressCrete companies. So StressCrete is our pre-stressed concrete pole companies. So that's the pre-stressings, we're stress, and Crete concrete. Then we've got our lighting division, King Luminaire. So that's the plant in Ohio that I mentioned. All of our lights for anywhere in the country come out of Northeast Ohio. And then back in Canada, we've got our King Luminaire metal pole division. So the metal poles and arms that we do come out of Ontario. And then we have there as well a foundry, King Cast. So that we started in 2018. And then in 2020, we launched our sports lighting division. So that would be Spartan Sports Lighting. So the 4 brands, StressCrete, King Luminaire, King Cast, and Spartan Sports Lighting, all held together by StressCrete Group.
Not stressful at all.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. Even internally or with our manufacturer reps, they get confused a little bit. But I try to explain that a little bit more as I work with the reps. They're updating their websites, updating that verbiage. We just launched our updated corporate video that gets through it all, explains it all, lays out the purpose and vision of the company, but also those details of what product lines and markets we serve under each brand and how the company overall, again, thinking like one company. So rather than the three StressCrete locations competing against each other, we're all working together to better service our customers, so we can get that service level is most important.
It is, and actually, like taking it back up, a zoom out, so to say, and trying to structure around all the different pieces of the company and think cohesively, like about the company as a whole, your communication strategy, holistically, and what each part is going to play. That's pretty interesting. That's a lot of work. I don't know what all you're able to talk about in there, but like, how have you overcome, I guess, the challenges of trying to make it all make sense?
It really depends on the market that we're serving. There's areas of the country where King Luminaire has a lot of brand value. Our fixtures have been in place and are on standards with different municipalities, but they're not doing much concrete. So StressCrete doesn't have any value. So we actually encourage our reps to still go to market under the King Luminaire brand. And then vice versa, we have other areas of the country that do really well with concrete, but don't do much with our lighting. So we kind of just play it by ear and don't get too bogged down in the dirty details. The big thing for me that I push on is differentiating StressCrete and StressCrete Group. The group being the umbrella and StressCrete being the concrete poles. So that's probably the one that I'm most focused on, is differentiating that, so we can see the power of the group as a whole.
Right.
But like our Spartan launch is a good example of when we launched that. Our understanding of the market was that whole sales process was going to be different. It would be a mix of our typical dealing with municipalities, utilities, but it would also be mom and dad fundraising for Jimmy's Little League, getting lighting on the field. So the brand had to have a much broader appeal. And competitive market wise, there's only one other company that's doing the full solution, poles, lights, and arms. So we knew we needed a separate brand for it, that it couldn't just go under the StressCrete and King Luminaire brands. But then when we actually got out in the market, pretty quickly realized that StressCrete, we've been doing the poles for sports lighting for 70 years. So a lot of people know our poles in the sports lighting world. So we kind of pretty quickly pivoted that marketing to go back to kind of a group branding and be like, okay, the pole is made by StressCrete, the lights are made by King Luminaire. It's all engineered and built in North America, so it's not imported cheap pieces. It's all North American, built and made. So leveraging the other brands, their names, even though we want to present that as a single brand, we've realized you need the importance. So they're really, each brand still holds its own value. It's been kind of interesting.
That is interesting. I think the overarching story there is just leveraging the brand equity you have in the market you have it in, and even building on when going into something new. For instance, this group concept, just building off of the equity that you already have, which makes a ton of sense. I mean,
and rather than trying to fight it and force the name, we're just accepting we got here through our reputation, the quality of service, quality of product, quality of people. So that's what's going to keep us going for the next 70 years.
Wow. Colin is active today. He just dropped the motherload comment in here. I don't know if this will all fit on the screen or if I can even read the writing. For either of you, what do you see as the future of content marketing in the industrial space, and how will that play in educating and nurturing leads in the industrial space, whether that's go-to platform you see being key, digital integration in meaningful ways to build those relationships? Wow, that's a mouthful. So we'll take it a piece at a time. What do you see as the future of content marketing in the industrial space, and how will that play in educating and nurturing leads? What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm definitely seeing it shifting, hearing from our sales team. We've been doing a lot of account-based approach, so very specific, customized materials. So prior to me being with the company, a lot of our materials were outsourced. We would make a brochure or a spec sheet that'd be used nationwide or across Canada and the US. So one piece of material that'd be used everywhere. And now we're looking at a lot more of, I'll work with our sales team, like, hey, you're working on this specific city, their exact specifications, and how do we get that information out there? So because we're able to do it, brought that creative back in house, we can adjust and adapt very quickly. So I see a lot more of that customization, more information, and then general, what I see across the industry. I think it was True. They had their study they did at released at IMS that more people are doing that kind of self-guided research prior to engaging with the sales team. So
Sure.
Content is how you're going to be able to actually play in that market. You have to have information out there for people to be able to do that self-guided research. So yeah, I think it's just going to be more and more important.
Yeah, and I would add, playing off of your first point. Your first point was kind of what I would answer with in general, which is more granular, personalized content. So I think content marketing, it starts out big. It's like almost anything. It starts out big and vague, and then slowly we grow more personalized and more specific. And I think that the onslaught of AI also is going to make greater personalization. And I don't just mean like putting your name at the top, personalization, but like content made for you, from me, for you. That kind of level of content of personalization is where we're going. So that's why I think,
with that unique perspective from you, that's important to me. AI is just driving to the middle. It's averages. So
exactly, it can allow people to create more and more less relevant content, versus like account-based marketing, content specific to accounts, content specific to a specific sales process, like literal proposal or literal opportunity where you're generating content towards that opportunity. And that might even take the form of social content like LinkedIn or that kind of content created by your sales team or whoever, which hopefully we're all catching on to the importance of getting our individual people active in the social space, because people are out there researching things digitally, like you just mentioned. And then integrating content as part of the sales process, where here's an opportunity. I know it's an opportunity. I'm creating content just for this opportunity for these people to see, So that would be my answer to that question is, in a general sense, more granular content, even down to almost individual to individual, but definitely individual to opportunity kind of content generation. But I don't think big content, so to say, is ever going away. There's just going to be more of a journey of increasing personalization in terms of content.
Yeah, and seeing a push to more video product as well, which
absolutely,
makes me again appreciate that my gamble on a fun degree is going to pay off, having that video experience.
Well, I think
it's so much easier. The barrier to entry, like this, the amount of equipment we need to be able to do this kind of interview show, and this is incredibly valuable content. All the other guests you've interviewed, I love watching it, and it's not a huge investment or a great undertaking, but incredibly valuable. And the discoverability of it, how you can repurpose it, it's such an easy starting point to work from.
It is. I would agree. Your background in video, I'm sure, is really coming in handy for you, and also writing. I know you like to write. You're a good writer. I think that the ability to generate content, it's more important than ever. It's not going to get less important. We really actually need to democratize all these skill sets and tools to make more people more able. But,
Mhm.
you as director of corporate communications are in a great position to have that skill set that you have, and bring that into your daily, basically. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. Just to pivot real quick, one thing I also know you're uh, passionate about, let's just say, is career development, both for an individual like yourself, or for somebody like yourself who's leading other people or kind of raising up, mentoring, growing a team. So that's a super vague intro, but why don't you just talk about, your passion about personal and career development, and what you bring to your workplace as you're trying to focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, I covered my career a little bit, and it was very much meandering. It wasn't a straight line. It wasn't a clear ladder that I climbed directly. Um, so I know that's not, not everybody's going to have that straight line or clear. I think most people, if you look back, are probably bouncing around a fair bit. Um, but I think through, my team is pretty young. The coordinators that I have working with me coming straight out of school, or the first real job out of school. Again, I took a while working in retail, doing side stuff before I figured out what I really wanted to do. So I look at that and I think, okay, how can I develop these people to be where they want to be? You know, the company is growing. We're doing a lot. I do believe that, but I've said right in the interview phase with interviewing them, I have no idea what that's going to look like. So you can drink the Kool-Aid, buy in, and come along for the ride. But I also am not naive enough to think you're going to be here for 30 years. So my approach is, what can I do today to help you grow your career, figure out what you do or do not like, because marketing's so varied.
It
There's so many
is.
different areas we can get into. So I want to try to expose them to as much as we can, while still getting what I need done for the department, but try to get as much of the job to be what you do like versus what you don't, and then work towards, okay, where do you want to be in 10 years, and how can I help you get there? Part of that goes back to a professor I had in university. He was, he was my helping pick courses. So going through, and that was his kind of prompt to me was, what kind of man do you want to be in 10 years? Not career or what you do, but what kind of person do you want to be, and what class is going to help you get there? So not just thinking about checking off boxes for a specific career development, but overall as a person as well. So who you are, what kind of person you want to be, what kind of impact you want to have on your community and the world around you. So thinking bigger than just those tasks you're doing day to day.
Now, I don't want to ask you to talk trash about anything you can't reveal about your current employer, and I don't know about anything, so I'm not hinting at anything, but I just know how things are. So do you feel like that you've been able to take that approach and bring that upward into your company, I guess, and help other department heads or things like that, or maybe they're already doing this, I don't know, but have you been able to, or had success with spreading that kind of culture around other areas of your company?
I mean, I don't know how successful it's been, but I've definitely been having the conversations, try to get people to buy into that viewpoint. With my department, I have one of my coordinators has been with me for 3 years, and starting out the job, it was there's good portions of it that were not fun. You know, the bad jobs roll downhill, so the
Always.
tasks that I wanted off my plate, threw onto her.
Yeah.
But she went with it. She's taken it. But as we figured out what kind of area she wants to be, she's really into the creative side. Again, the writing, very good writer. So that's some of the stuff I've been developing with her. And earlier this year, I threw all of our creative onto her. So all of our ads that we're putting out, the Spartan brand, she completely updated that brand. I helped create it in 2020. Last year, we completely overhauled it. And there again, I recognized I was too close to it. So there's stuff that I liked about it because I made it. So obviously I liked it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't elevate it to where it needs to be. So, I recognize that I had to hand that off, but also that she had that interest. So to be able to give her that, hey, you're fairly new in your career, but here's this entire brand. It's a lot of responsibility, and obviously not just leaving her out there to float on her own, but
right.
She's taking that first pass at it, going through doing, all that creative. And because we've had that good working back and forth talking, I know I don't have to check in every minute with her. I know she'll get it, 95% of the way. And then I can come in and make one little change, and usually frustrates her because there's something that she should have known, but you stare at it for a while, you kind of miss those simple things.
For sure.
So that's been one of like, okay, we're getting more and more of her day to be the kind of tasks that she wants to do, so that the few times those other things, other tasks as assigned, that scary bullet point on a job description, when those come up, she's willing to do it because I've embraced the growing that career and developing her to where the kind of stuff she wants to do. So yeah, for her, I've probably said it to the point of frustrating her that, just tell me when you need to move on. If you feel like there's no growth here, or tell me where you want to go so I can help get you there. I can't guarantee it'll be overnight, but we'll work towards that. And then if we do reach a point that this company is not a good fit, then I'll help you find that next role. My goal with growing my team is to grow them as people and in their careers. So if they go on and be successful outside of here, I will take pride in having a very small piece of that. Not take credit for their good work, but rather than getting upset and mad that, oh, they're going to leave me, it will suck when they leave. But I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm going to be happy for them. Kind of, like I said, celebrate that little piece that I had.
Yeah, that's awesome. That philosophy, I think, is awesome. I think your approach is right on. It's the approach I've always also tried to take. Just try to get people in the positions of doing something they love. It's not 100% possible, like you said, and especially at the beginning. I had this intern girl who came in as an intern. I think originally she was an intern, but for like the first almost year, she did spreadsheets. It was like, you need to fix all the data. Welcome aboard. You're going to do this. You'll get to do other stuff later. And she did, and she worked her way up and was an incredibly valuable part of the team. And I've had multiple people, at least four people who I've mentored almost from the beginnings. Not all of them were at the beginning, but some of them were literally at the beginning. And they're now off directing marketing or managing marketing in some other company, mostly still in industrial marketing. And yeah, that's great to see. I mean, of course, you can't, no company has room for everybody to just become the director of marketing, and everybody wants to.
Or sometimes it's not even, we might be able to get there, but they might be growing, outpacing us. That, we are growing, we're doing a ton, but we're not going to get there fast enough. So they're going to, I don't want to stunt their career, have them be here and then get resentful. I'd rather see them leave and, elsewhere in the company outside of marketing. But elsewhere in the company, we've had people boomerang, like they'll leave and come back because we then catch up to where they needed to be. So I think if you've got that mindset that like, hey, we're all trying to do what's best for us and our families. And, if you have that mindset and the positive view of it, then I think there's not a problem with people leaving and coming. And even if they never come back, it's, hey, we'll stay connected and, hope you do well.
Yeah, it does hurt sometimes, and got to admit, but it's good in the long run.
For sure.
It's like a growth pain, you're like, oh, but you're doing so great and I'm proud of you. I just, again, pivot to another topic, which is, I just wanted to, as part of this show, I try to get under the surface of people's motivations, besides just work things, besides just creative or marketing and team building, just to the deeper personal questions, deeper personal essence, kind of what is it for you that is your center, that is the thing that keeps you going for when things are difficult, or gives you that motivation to, for instance, pour into other people's lives, like we're talking about here. There's usually, everybody has a thing that's the fountain for them, that fills them up, that they use to pour into other people or keep going during difficult times. What is that thing for you?
My knee-jerk thing, I would say family. But to get a little more detailed than that, again, my family, my daughter and my wife. I work hard and know that, okay, they're proud of me. My daughter's happy to see me when I pick her up from preschool. That can keep me going through some difficult times. And then, my faith keeps me going as well. So knowing, again, there's bigger stuff out there, I think helps keep me grounded in those more positive views of things, not get drugged down into the dirt of everything. Not perfect, but try to always come back to that. And then with my career, the development, finding that goal of what is going to be value in work. So I think everyone wants to make a contribution that's actually valuable. So I've done various, career assessment kind of things, and there's one I did recently that got into kind of creating a mission statement, and it was interesting because it kind of made sense of how I ended up in manufacturing, industrial, kind of very technical marketing, because I have a very strong research bent, but also the creative side of me, which you'd think would be opposites, but coming together and creating that result, or like I said, creating understanding, using language, words, whatever form media to propel understanding is kind of my big career motivational thing. Is if I'm helping to do that, then I'm in the right seat.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I totally relate with that too. Several guests have expressed what, including myself, I'm not a guest, but have encountered this combination of unlikely things like research and the creative, or the geeky aspects, engineering and the creative, or technical, basically in general, that double-brained, kind of factor that I think industrial marketing requires, and it attracts people who like those weird combos of it's like the almond with the candy with the M&M with the almond instead of without. You got to have the both, so it's like the kind of weird combo, salty and sweet. But anyways, cool. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. If people are looking for you, where would be your preferred place for them to find you?
LinkedIn is best. I'm a little sporadic in my posting directly, but I'm on all the time, commenting, engaging. So, yeah.
I think you have great posts. Your posts are thoughtful.
I do try to be thoughtful, but yeah, they're a little more sporadic. I'm not I'll post every day or 3 times a week. I have a thought, I'll put it together. I can't remember if I actually made this post yet, but my rare superpower is actually thinking before I speak. So I don't speak a lot, but when I do, I try to actually contribute something valuable. So
yeah. That's good.
I'll be perfect at that, but I try to add some insight when I comment, not just good post. So if you see me around on LinkedIn, I am trying to add some value. Occasional bad joke here and there, but
yeah. All right, Joel, thanks for being a guest. Guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're looking for Joel, like he said, go check him out on LinkedIn. Thanks, and everybody have a great day. See you next time.